Hey YouTube. So I'm continuing on with my 2016 predictions, and so my next prediction is going to be I'll call them personal robots. I don't know what they're going to be eventually called. Kind of like in the past we have like personal computers. There's a little bit of history behind that name. Before you couldn't have a computer, you had to use a mainframe computer, and there's a lot of you had to share the computer, and of course they're enormous in size. So when they developed the computer you could have, personal computer made sense at the time, and so it'll be interesting to see what kind of name kind of sticks to personal robots. And when I say personal robots, I'm not talking like a CP3O type thing. I think they're going to come in the form of almost like robotic appliances, and they might even be marketed. They might not even be called robots. They might be called like intelligent appliances or augmented appliances or assisted appliances or something like that. Augmented appliances kind of sounds kind of cool. And when I say what I'm talking about is things like you could go back and look at all the appliances that we use and then automate them, and they might not even be recognized as robots. And but for a good example would be a vacuum cleaner. I mean, you got I think it's called a Roomba or something out there, and that's that's an okay robot. It's kind of cool and stuff, but there's a lot of technologies that are kind of off the shelf, so to speak, that haven't been put together that we can do amazing things with. Some of that is because it's proprietary, and people who are playing around with robotics tend to just jump on the open source stuff just because it's easier. You don't have to deal with intellectual property rights stuff. There's a whole conversation in itself, and you don't worry as much about patents. You can just concentrate on trying to get the project done and not worry about lawyers getting involved and stuff for the most part. If you look at what's been done with optical recognition, and I don't even like that term, but basically what we can do with a camera and automatic tracking would be a better deal. Even with cameras, you see this. Cameras nowadays have like automatic stabilization. Helicopters have gyros in there, and they've come up with a lot of new technologies just to stabilize videos in an unstable environment through software and electronics, and it's pretty cool what they've done. So I could see like a vacuum cleaner that's a lot more intelligent, a lot quicker, that if it was built and marketed right, it'd be kind of cool just to not ever have to worry about vacuuming again, because you had like I pictured a little docking station to where your vacuum would maybe at night, it would be quiet, it's all electric. It'd go out, and it doesn't have to be at night. It could go out when it detects that there's no traffic in the house, and just starts vacuuming your carpet in an intelligent manner, as opposed to a lot of older ones are just like bump sensor type technology. They could do the algorithm. Mapping algorithms have really come a long ways. And what's going to push a lot of this technology is the automation in the automotive industry, as we see smart cars come out, or driverless cars, and that technology. Hopefully they'll keep that stuff open source enough, or at least make standards on it to where other industries could adopt it, where they've already solved problems that you could, like there's a classic math problem where you try to, you have an imaginary city and it's just represented by a bunch of dots, and you try to figure out like a trash truck route through the city, and to where the most effective way to go a path through the city to go through every street and never repeat a street. And there's actually, I think it's a mathematical formula, but there's a technique for doing that. Those kind of things could be applied to your vacuum cleaner, and along with some other technologies, to where the vacuum cleaner would come out, clean your room, and then maybe go to the docking station as it gets full and drops off the dirt, so to speak. And I'd like to see, speaking of vacuum technology, that's kind of an interesting one. It hasn't really evolved as much as I think it could. There's like, instead of using air suction to suck up the dirt, it seems like you could almost use like a toner cartridge method, where toner is very fine, and they get it to stick to a roller by statically charging it in them positively or negatively, depending on how they charge it. Just have like a cylinder, and you make that the opposite charge, and because your particles become charged, let's say positive, and your cylinder becomes negatively charged, the particles will attract to the cylinder, and it works very good in laser toner. And it would be kind of cool to apply some technology like that to pick up dirt as opposed to just sucking it. But if something works really well, if they can come up with a low power means of using a traditional vacuum, maybe more agitation or something. Anyways, it's just kind of, it'd be neat if something other than the sucking of air for a vacuum cleaner would come along, and I think it's doable. Just take somebody to sit down and think about it. Of course, the lawnmower would be a great one. It'd be cool to have, you just throw this robot out, and again, it'd have like a little parking station. It would go out and clip all the clippings of the grass and maybe collect them and actually mulch them and turn them back into fertilizer and redistribute that. And again, the key there is you just want something you can get thrown in your yard, and it would intuitively, like a person would. I mean, you go out there, you don't have to study your yard. You can tell what's grass and what's not, and you just start cutting. Most people cut in a circular pattern, either from the outside in or the inside out, or even the left or right method. You know, there's different methods and stuff, and you just apply what works well. Again, a lawnmower, an intelligent lawnmower that you just throw out there, and it would just cut the grass, and your grass is always like perfectly manicured, and it dealt with the clippings and stuff. And also you could make another robot specifically for picking up leaves in your yard and mulching them and things like that. And things that are kind of time consuming. Another good example would be, I think there could be a lot done inside the washing machine industry, to where maybe you throw your laundry into a hamper, and the hamper is actually part of a robotic. And your washing machine, when I say, as I mentioned before, a lot of appliances that become robots aren't really considered robots. To me, the washing machine of today is almost a robot, because it's making decisions. It's not consciously making decisions, but it's making logical decisions, like, is the water level high enough? Yes, okay, shut it off. That type of automation is like really close to, you know, if not close to being what's considered a robot already. It'd be nice to have a hamper where you throw your clothes in, and then the robot maybe tumbles them around and separates the blacks from the whites for the clothing there, and then so your dark clothes get washed and won't contaminate your white clothes or your brighter ones, so you don't get a color cross contamination with the inks, which kind of, there's an opportunity right there. Maybe come up with better dyes that won't, you could mix the whites with the blacks, and they wouldn't, the darks wouldn't become lighter and the lighters become dark. Usually you don't have the darks becoming light. Usually you'll throw in like a white shirt with a red shirt and accidentally come out with a pink shirt. You know, that's not too good. But anyways, kind of got off track there. But a washing machine that automatically, and with a lot less energy and power, separate your clothes, wash it. How you would get it folded, it would be really a cool trick, and I have no idea how you do that. That'd be a tough one. But if it'd be cool if it could basically throw your laundry in a basket, it washes them, dries them, and folds them for you, and you just come back, and you don't have to worry about it. And then the next step would be like a little R2-D2 looking thing to do house chores, like maybe go around, water your plants, or pick up that laundry that's already folded and put it away for you. Those kind of things I think eventually will start happening, and it's just going to take somebody to come up with a pretty good one, like a lawnmower or a vacuum cleaner that's going to be a game changer. And once one person does it, then you're going to have other big companies jumping on board. It's kind of like when the digital camera first came out, and the filmmakers were like, we're going to stick with our traditional film. And you see where those guys are today. There's film camera stores on every corner. And now if you have a traditional, like a 35mm became really popular, you take some pictures of that and you try to get it to develop. It's kind of hard to do. Plus, there's the weight factor. Right now, like I'm making this video, I shoot a real-time video. It's recorded, and I'm just upload it because it's already digital, and boom, it distributes. When you do that with traditional media, you had to wait for it to get processed, and you couldn't see what it looks like. You couldn't edit it. You're kind of stuck with what you got, and unless you digitized it. And so, But that's what I was explaining there is what's gonna happen in the appliance industry. Once somebody does something cool, the guys that stay back and don't jump on the new technology are gonna be just like the film guys. Sure, they'll have a little niche market for a while, and but the majority of everything's gonna jump over to the robotic type appliance. So a lot of rambling there, little bit of thoughts and stuff. If you have any good ideas for robots, especially ones that could be used around the house, that'd be cool to see your comments below on what you thought would be a good project to automate, especially if it's a time saver. I mean, you look what the microwave did for us. How much? I mean, if you wanted a grilled cheese sandwich before, you had to spend like 30 minutes cooking it and prepping it and everything when you're doing it with an oven, and now you just, I mean, how much you go to the supermarket, pick up frozen dinner, throw it in the microwave, boom, you're done in 15 minutes, you know, and you don't have to put very much effort into it. Anyhow, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you subscribe, you'll see more videos come up. And I might be wrong on this one. It might take just a couple more years, but this is very well could be the year that the personal robots start coming out. And again, don't get angry with me. I don't make the future, I only predict it. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you around.